Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 320, and today we're going to be doing battle with Zoe, Udyr, Kayle, Generous Gemcrafters. And so, the Twitter user Abstract Manor sent me this deck list, asked for my thoughts and feelings on it, and that's what we're going to be providing today. And so, I've been wanting to do some kind of battles with the Generous Gemcrafters since the release of the 4.2 patch. We haven't made our way around to it, but that's what we're going to be getting at today. And then if you would like me to take a peek at one of your decks, you can send it to us over on Twitter. There's no guarantees that I'll get to it, but I'll try my best to get around to that kind of thing. And so, Abstract Manor's idea here is we are trying to take advantage of the Generous Gemcrafter, and then the way to go about that is going to be this collection of value spells. So, the likes of Pale Cascade and Guiding Touch are basically free cards since they have the cycle component attached to them, and then cards like Three Sisters count as two spells in one. You play the front half, that generates an additional spell. You play the second half, that should be two +1/+1s going into your hand, while still getting a pretty good spell along the way. Now, the downside that you run into to all this stuff is the actual Generous Gemcrafter itself. It is a understated unit, and then we're also adding in cards that you need to have other cards on the board for. And so, for the Generous Gemcrafter to be working in these situations, you need to have something on board to be targeting. That something on board needs to be threatening enough to your opponent to where the Generous Gemcrafter still just gets to hang out. And then you also need a card in hand that you're going to be depositing these bonuses onto. And in my opinion, that was just a little bit too much work with the cards that we were given access to here. I just don't think counting on cards like Mahari being in hand as all this goes on is going to be a ultra successful strategy. And so the way I've moved over for this, moving over to the deck list that we'll be playing today, is I want to move away from that spells based aspect. I think spending all of that mana on Pale Cascades and Guiding Touches and the like is just going to be too expensive. And we're going to be looking to take advantage of the gems instead. And so we're going to include the Gift Giver, the Mountain Goat, and the Lunari Cultist. We're going to be pushing away from that idea of just playing value spells, and we're just going to play units that generate the spells instead. And so we do need a little bit of help for these units to be good. Again, we want them to be interesting and threatening in the early game so that when we do get a Generous Gemcrafter on the board, the opponent has to at least think about what we've put forth, and they aren't able just to attack into us and dome us with a superior board while we're just trying to play this really heavy value plan. And so to help make these early game units even better, we are playing a full set of equipment with the 3 Darkened Spears and the 3 Darkened Lodestones. Should give us some opportunities to make those units a little bit more relevant in the early game, so our mid game can be devoted to powering up with the Generous Gemcrafters. And so to fit that in, we have cut a lot of the spells out of the deck. We're playing only one copy of Three Sisters, no Pale Cascades, no Guiding Touches. The Catch, since it's a nice combat trick that works with the equipment, and then the Troll Chance to still give our early game units a little bit of survivability. Since we have moved to this equipment plan, we can look towards the Unforgiven Cold as a better frostbitey kind of spell than the Harsh Winds, and I think that this gives us a fairly interesting interactivity package. And if we don't need the interactivity, then ideally we can still take advantage of all those gems that we've been generating. And so the thing that I like next about having access to all of the gems are the elusives that we can attach them to. And so since we have Zoe up in the champion space, the Esmuth, and then the Sparklefly, we have lots of good targets for the gems that can punch in the extra damage and hopefully give us a little bit of double value out of those friends. But we do still have a lot of really nice combos with the Generous Gemcrafter. If you're loading up something like Revna with a bunch of stats in hand, she is supremely happy to come down as a 5/5 or a 6/6. You usually don't get a lot of stats out of your first Revna, but you can if the Generous Gemcrafter is involved. And then we have the big bro package of the Udyr Kayle, another set of fantastic units to be dropping those stats on. Udyr coming through as a gigantic overwhelm unit, or Kayle helping to level up her empowered ability. And so that's the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. I'm ready to begin. I hope you are too. Let's get on to it. Hit up that Master's Queue. Got this kitty here ready to help as well. You got a flea. That better not be a flea. Oh my god, is that what life's coming down to now? Not quite ready to pick it off your face. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to pause the game after this. I've had I had troubles with fleas once, and not in this household. It was in an apartment that allowed pets, and so I feel like a lot of it came through in that way. But definitely not. It's not moving. I think it's just a fuzzy. Oh my boy. Oh boy. I'm a little worried now. But let's focus on this game and then we'll come back to it. The Zillia Nasus should be the Vaults of Helia deck, which is a little worrisome to me. They do have a lot of late game presence with the Vaults that could potentially, overpower something like the Generous Gemcrafter. And so we'll see if we can't get out in front of it at least a little bit here. But I have a touch of worries. All right, Lunari Cultist on board, though. If he's not doing anything, I mean, I feel like that's okay for us. We have the Gemcrafter in hand along with the gem. Yeah, this is fine. So hopefully we'll pick up a unit next turn that we can start to boost with the Gemcrafter. We miss out on that future gem since we did just lose our unit, but I think that's okay. Mountain Goat's ready to party now. Well outside of Quietus range. I appreciate that, my friend. So let's see, there's an argument to just go ahead and play the gem so that it's guaranteed to land on our Mountain Goat, and now Udyr shows up to show us show us exactly why we were having that thought. I mean, the Mountain Goat is still okay here, but this can be a bit of a problem if we don't have the right amount of stats going on here. But if he just drops the Vault before the combats even begin, we know that we're safe with our attacks in hand. It's only going to be getting a 2-drop next turn, then our Udyr will be ready to come down for battle. Generate some of those stances, Udyr. Use those to give our units in hand some more stats. Very nice, very kind. Ooh, a second Vaults of Helia. He's going to be doing the ramp thing. And so do we want to go ahead and throw down our Udyr, or do we want to get this Gift Giver going? And I'm leaning towards the Gift Giver. Like, I don't know what 4-cost unit is going to be the one coming out of their deck, but maybe it's not that bad. It's just like my concern with dropping the Udyr is that he's going to come down and then he's just going to get hit with a Vengeance. But I think that's okay. He's pretty big now. I banked up the mana, so if it comes down to it, we can play the stance off of Udyr. But I suspect we're going to be looking to play Troll Chants and Catches out of this combat. Of course, you're hitting the Crocolith. I think it's okay. We can just throw away a unit in front of it. We can put Udyr in front of it, should we so choose. Uh-oh, you're gonna need to come down here in front of Udyr, my friend, or is this the Vengeance coming in? There's the Vengeance. And so not a ton we can do about this combat. Like the playing the spells here is kind of nice since it's going to boost up this Esmuth, but I think we just have to kind of give up on it at this point. We're not going to kill the Crocolith to stop his unit chains this turn, and so we just have to accept that he's going to be going up to Nasus now. I'm not sure how big that Nasus is going to be, though. I don't entirely think it's scary. He shouldn't be up to where he's about to flip, and if he's close, we can potentially Troll Chant him down underneath the flip range. Ooh, he's there. All right, we're counting on you, Esmuth. You gotta, you gotta put in the work for us today. Does feel a little bit safer with the Expanse's protection turning up, but we need a bit of help with this upcoming turn. I mean, do we ever just take the hit from Nasus? It's only 2 mana to try and stop it. I guess if we're being real, we're not going to get too much out of a Troll Chant anyways. Alright, what you got for us, dude? Thinking real hard on this play. Potentially the hardest old Riptide has ever thought in his life. This is a big one. Doing big battles down here at the Zero LP Masters. You gotta think about those situations real big. And so, how much do we care about this? I think we have to try and Expanse's protection through. It's just a little bit too much, I think. So we'll stop the NASA strike. I'm curious if where he stands in terms of um, where he stands in terms of the unit that comes out in the 8 cost space. Not entirely certain what that would be. I guess we could have just let him go, right? As far as this NASA stands, he's just going to get cycled away anyways, and we're not going to have to worry about that ability on board. All right, well, if we're just facing down a... Oh, really? I was wondering if there was going to be a second Nasus involved here. We can get out of this, but I was curious if that was what was getting involved with the turn and whether or not he was trying to keep this Nasus around. But you barely survived it, Esmuth. We're getting ourselves in a spot to potentially lethal. I think that's all we can really ask for in this space. Like, as we're playing against this really oh, fuck, the Rekindler? Yeah. I guess we should know that these are the things that are coming, but we need something else now. Okay. Alright. That's a tough one. GG. Alright. I think we're safe from fleas. Not safe for more battles, though. See what we can do. What is this? The Sun Disk? These are all the decks that really kind of worry me, right? As we're trying to play this really kind of value-based package of using the Generous Gemcrafters. It's just like these decks that just kind of go, LOL, okay. I'm going to be just a little bit slower, but my ability is just going to outright win the game. But reasonable enough start here. Pretty decent value set of units. We can get our Gift Giver into Esmuth, then probably play some Mountain Goats, and then follow up with that Gemcrafter a little bit later. Just gotta try and aggro them pretty hard here, but I don't feel like we want to aggro so hard to where we're just playing a Mountain Goat on turn 2. Well, we're kind of stuck doing it now. Can't throw Esmuth down in front of the Rockhopper. And then, are we wanting to just kind of give up on the gems a little bit? I think we want to play the Esmuth now. I guess we can put the single gem onto Esmuth to start doing 1 point of damage. I guess it's not that big of a damage. Now with the Rock Bear Shepherd, just getting a block in front of the Gift Giver is so big. I think we're stuck preemptively gemming here. So he's going to take the same block that he was going to get with the Clockling. He makes this block 100% of the time, regardless of if the Gift Giver's a 2-attack or a 3-attack. But I think if we leave the Gift Giver at 2, he's able to go, oh, oops, I'll just block with the Rock Bear Shepherd instead, and it's a bit of a pain point. Interesting. The Generous Gemcrafter is so much better when it's a 3/4 instead of a 2/3. I can appreciate those stats. Changing your mind? Do we want to get out in front of this? Like, if he hits with the 4 damage spell, like I think that's why he's almost always just open attack, or it's bringing this attack in. I think I want to wait a turn so that we can get the Gemcraft. Well, I guess that doesn't entirely work. I was going to say if we get the Gemcrafter up to 5, then it's a little bit safer, but it's not going to have. It's not going to have the stats from. if he blocks with the 3/3, then hits it for 4 damage, it's still going to die, right?
More hands make quick work. Be brave.
All right, not a bad squad though. Kayle turning up at a pretty good time. We got good attacks across the board. I don't think we could ask for much more than that. Right, here comes a 4 damage spell. Oh, Preservarium. Maybe he's waiting till next turn. I have a hard time imagining he doesn't have it. He's played such a way that makes it feel like that's what's coming. Oh boy, the Expanse's protection. Can we get it down? We do have an equipment in hand to make it a little bit cheaper. Oh no, we don't. Oops. Little oopsies on that. So does he ever attack here? It's tough for him to come in and attack into Kayle. Let's drop the Mountain Goat. I don't think he does, but we need him to tap down low before we drop this Expanse's protection. He doesn't do it. He doesn't bring it in. Uh-oh. He's got the whole squad. The Sundisk shouldn't be leveling up. Oh, it is. Oh, he had the Rock Bear Shepherd on the board for a while. I was like, this feels a little short. It feels like it should still have like 1 or 2 ticks on it, but got a couple of things removed. All right, well, we'll be done with the movies before you know it. just need a little bit more time for these movies here, and we'll be good to go. So we'll add in Zoe, we'll add in the Cultist. We need to just get this stuff on board, and then, like, next turn, as these 2 sarcophagus blow up, he's going to kill our smallest units. There's nothing we can do about that. But if we get to cycle around to a Kayle attack, we might be okay. I don't really mind losing this Generous Gemcrafter, right? We're out of spells at this point, so it's not that big of a deal. The big deal is going to be what we can do with Kayle. Alright, this is bad. This is bad. So this gets her up to 10, I do believe. 11, so she'll be flipping on the next turn with just this. That's all we can ask for. We got to keep the goat and the cultist back to soak up the sarcophagus and the like. We could still just go ahead and drop in a gem, but if we're going to play gem, probably want to put it on Esmuth. Okay. Can't even present a lethal with this. It's brutal. Interesting. Kayle doesn't lose quick attack when she gets hit with quicksand. Huh. I guess quicksand doesn't remove empowered, and empowered is a separate ability. That's interesting. Ooh, that was unnecessary, right? I was thinking we needed her to be at 11. She's going to be at 11 at round start anyways. We dead. Which is this, 15 so far?
My Emperor, our day has finally come.
Okay. I assumed that was done at that point, but had to stop and math it up real quick. It's not in a spot to where, like, if you get that one attack in, once the Sun Disk pops, you have a chance to win, but once you move into the next turn, it's pretty done. All right, though. Next to battles. What do we got here? A little bit of Nora Swain. Hi. This is the kind of deck to where I think we have more of a shot, right? Like running up against the Sun Disk to where our long term plans for like turn 8 and turn 9 are Gemcrafter up Revna. And the opponent's able to just go like, all right, well, I'll win the game instead. You know, if you go to turn 9, I'm just going to outright win the game. You don't get as much of that power coming out of Swain. I think we'll have a little bit more opportunity here. Guarantee what's going to happen though, as we try to check the viability of this deck, he's immediately going to portal into a unit that kills Mountain Goat. Here it comes. He didn't do it? Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. That's the way things usually go. So I'm going to equip up the goat, drop the cultist for both gems, and then we'll start trying to use the Gemcrafter next turn and load up Revna a little bit. What do you think about that, boss? You'll say, I got you, fam. It's an Arachnoid Sentry, and I got a Ravenous Flock. Easy. Easy peasy.
I will end their cyclical war.
I don't know why we needed to think on this so long. This was literally the easiest play of 2023. Literally the easiest play of 2023. All right, and a fresh unit. Sure.
An end to war.
All right, Gemcrafter. You got to start putting in some work. Let's see how poorly this turn can go. There is an argument to kind of like hold the Gemcrafter for just a little bit so we can try and chain off more spells, right? So I could see definitely just banking for the turn, rolling into next turn, and then trying to chain off a bunch of spells. But you can't chain off gems, right, since they have focus. If it was a burst, then you would have the opportunity to do that kind of thing, but we aren't able to do that here. All right, so there was a bonus onto Revna. And the next turn happens. All right, team. That one went on to Kayle.
True power eclipses both day and night.
I think our plan at this point is his units are all just going to be so much bigger than our... Well, he's always going to have access to units is what I should be saying. I think we want to just try and land some targets onto this Revna so that we can play her next turn and then ideally have the rest of our units this game be much more relevant. Now, of course, as we try to go for that game plan, 100% of our gems landed onto Kayle, but I think that's where we want to be. As if Revna was a 5/5 and giving all the units in our deck all those bonus stats, then we would be in a little bit of a better spot here. So with this, I'm just going to prevent as much damage as we can. Maybe we keep our Gemcrafter around. Let the Conchologist stick. I suspect the Gemcrafter is going to just die after combat or... Excuse me, die to a pokey stick, but I think this is okay. We're kind of done at this point, right? We don't have any more gems to give out bonus stats with, and so there's no real reason to protect the engine. This game is now coming down to Revna and giving all the units in our deck +3/+3. Would have been a lot cooler if it was giving them +5/+5, but you can't have it all, I guess. We're certainly not getting it all today. Wow. That's bold. Takes us to 6. Okay. Legionary Charge. That Conchologist had to have generated that, right?
We were born to rule.
Right, Mountain Goat comes in. Sure. All right, what are we getting out of this turn? I figure we can maybe drop Kayle. Like, we have the 7 mana for the turn. The problem is if we want to keep some of this mana banked up for next turn, because we're gonna have to Three Sisters and we're gonna have to Troll Chant to just try and not die. I assume as he comes in here, he's gonna remove one of our units with just rando spells. And so I think I want to take this 3 bank into the next turn. I'm not going to attack here. I don't want our units getting popped by ravenous flocks and stuff as his board is completely full. We need to get a fuller board, and then we can start to try and threaten those things. Sure. And Udyr turns up. Such a big attacker, friend. Such a big attacker. So that's 2 damage coming in. We can stop here, I think. Like, this shouldn't be a deck. It's a deck that can hit us with, like, pokey sticks, but it's not something to where we should be seeing decimates come in. Disintegrate onto Mountain Goat. You got it. I guess there is a little bit of worry about, like, a... maybe we drop a Troll Chant. I was going to say there's like a little bit of worry about something like the Leviathan hitting the board. And so if we're at 5 instead of 4, that could potentially buy us an extra turn of time. So now we can Udyr. We'll play a gem so we don't lose out on the mana, and then next turn we can drop Feel the Rush. Could have dropped Feel the Rush. now that the dude is hit, we lose out on that option. Not a terrible looking spot though. Ooh, Sparklefly. You're the one we need. I'm going to lead off with Kayle here. This is going to lose out on a point of mana, or a point of healing, right? With the Sparklefly not being on board for when Kayle hits. But I want to try and bait out some of his removals on these things we have in play. So it's like if we lose an Udyr or if we lose a Kayle, not entirely that big of a deal, right? Our stats at this point are just enough to not have to worry about that kind of thing. But I really want to gain the health off of this Sparklefly. And so now getting to play it second gives us a little bit of a safety net to dodge things like this Arachnoid Sentry. Alright, I think we're okay here. We might end up losing out on a Mountain Goat or lose out on some stuff that disintegrates, but I think we've caught up enough now that Sparklefly's a part of the equation. Disintegrate onto Udyr. Okay, he still gets his strike. That's the big thing. Now we can look to gem the Sparklefly to protect it from future damage-based stuff. Like I don't really suspect this guy's going to be dropping Nox and Guillotines, but there's no reason to give him that chance. Uh-oh. Here comes all the spells, though. We were looking to stop this double Ravenous Flock onto our bird. It's okay to have it fall. It's not that big of a deal, but that's what we were looking for. Right. Does Kayle hit Overwhelm? She's already got it, so we can just give her +2/+2. So we'll make her a 10. We'll drop a gem to take her up to 11. She'll get the flip next turn. Should be pretty safe at this point. I'm going to also heal 1 off of Revna, so she doesn't die to Pokey Stick. I think the turns have tabled. I do believe it. I believe those turns have tabled.
who need it.
Dude getting a little upset. Says, Bust, your units is too good, bro. Your units are too good.
Sapphire, gem of our divine patron. Be
Oh, where are we at? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Nailed it. And then, if we need to, we can potentially look to Three Sisters, the Kayle. We're already coming in for 66. I don't suspect we're going to need it, but that opportunity is there to give her some bonus stats or to take away a blocker. All right. GG.
Those that cry out for justice shall have it.
Those that cry out for justice shall have it. No truer words have ever been spoken. Okay. A little bit of that OTK Lee Sin. Another one that worries me. This is one of these matchups like going up to battle against the Sun Disk, as to where they're just going to kind of fuck around, and then when they get to turn 9, they're just going to win the game. And we struggle a little bit in terms of winning the game before they're able to get their combos online. Okay. Not going to run the Zoe out here. We have ways to make our units grow. We can get in front of this Disciple.
You know how it is. In and out.
So who are we looking to drop now? We don't have our Gemcrafter, so these gift givers aren't nearly as exciting. I mean, I guess we can bring down Sparklefly. It's just how much do we care if we actually lose this Zoe? This is an opposing deck's going to have a lot of removal spells in it. And so I think it's okay. If he's going to put like a Sonic Wave onto the Disciple and get in front of Zoe, I think I might actually be a little bit more upset if he put it in front of the Sparklefly. So, okay. The upside to Zoe is that she's able to generate Crescent Strikes. But we do have the Unforgiven Cold, so if he tries to combo kill us with Lee Sin, then we have the way to stop it. All right, bad elusives in front of bad elusives. Let's see. Let's see who ultimately wins this battle. Looks like Action's the one that's about to win it. Surprised he doesn't attack here, at least to get a draw. These Disciples aren't really doing anything. Revna turns up. Okay.
A little luck for those who need it. The journey is difficult.
Might as well get some gems, right?
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
What do you think of that? Not bad. How sweet's it gonna be if that stat lands on onto the Revna? We get to start comboing. I'm excited. I hope it comes in. Get ready to have some fun with Revna here. I mean, opponent, he's not getting these Disciples in, so his spell count for Lee Sin is quite low, and he only has 2 cards in hand, and so I just don't think we're really scared of anything that they're doing. Like, we can probably just give up on Esmuth at this point, right? Like, let's just stop everything. Maybe the damage from Action isn't that big of a deal, but I definitely don't want him drawing cards off these Disciples. So there we go. Everybody gets +3/+3. Could look to drop the second Revna, but I think that one might be a little greedy. Yeah, we've got the 7 mana for the Goat and the Udyr.
Extend your senses.
Okay, yeah, what's Lee Sin at? He's only at 5. He hasn't been able to cycle out these Disciples. He's quite small. Don't tell him we said that. You're very chiseled, Lee Sin. You're not that small, bro. You're just not close to leveling up. All right. You did it. Lee Sin protected. And so I don't want to get super invested in the likes of Udyr. Like if opponent's able to play bounce spells or play stuns or whatever, it's pretty easy to knock Udyr out of relevance, but the first spell is probably okay. Here's a Gemcrafter. This is just going to be nowhere near lethal, right? I guess we can't even pop through we can't even pop through the spell shields since our Unforgiven Cold is going to target his action. What an embarrassing Lee Sin. Embarrassing. Sure. Alright, I think we're in pretty tip-top shape now. Everybody in our deck's got +5/+5.
Everyone should have a grappling hook.
Everyone should have a grappling hook. No truer words have been said.
I will end their cyclical war.
So he's only going to have one card in hand now, right? We don't have to worry about too much. Make him worry about a Naka. Is it a good one? That was a pretty good one. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That was probably the best spell out of his entire deck. Ugh. Alright. Well, here comes the team. Who'd we get out of this? A Sparklefly? That should be... It's not going to be lethal because he can block a Naka. But... or I was going to say he can move off of a Naka, so we're going to be one short. But... We're still doing alright. Still doing okay. It's got to be the draw 2, right? Yeah. He's going to go through all this work and then go, and the Unforgiven Cold. I don't know. I don't know if we want him to draw perfect or not. Really have him come out here and get the hopes up with the draw perfects, and then you just blast it with the Unforgiven Cold. The Desert Duel. Rip Udyr. Fought hard, friend. You fought hard. Didn't fight hard enough, though. Jim Jam Zim Zam. Get that Ram Stance kill. Ram Stance OTK, as I like to call it. currently the best deck in the game, the Ram Stance OTK. Alright, next battle. Ooh, oh Yasuo. This is gonna be telling. I love talking trash about Yasuo and what a terrible champion he is. And so if we don't get success against Yasuo, then I don't know, man. Our hopes and dreams are all going to be dashed. But not a bad start. I don't think we need to start with Sparkleflies in this match. The deck just isn't aggressive enough for me to really care. Can come in with Esmuth now. Not going to deal any damage for the turn, but opponent shouldn't be able to interact with it very well. And we do have good target in hand in the Generous Gemcrafter. If we get the stats on the Gemcrafter to make it a real unit, it's a real perk. So what's he doing here? He's gonna Blade's Edge into Ravenous Flock. That's the only real reason to play Katarina here. do we care about losing any of these units? Like, we can put the lodestone onto Esmuth and then protect Esmuth with the Expanse's protection. And then next turn, try and get a Lunari Cultist heal onto it. I think that's okay. And then if we're wrong, we aren't really losing out on that much. But I think counterspelling the Ravenous Flock with the Expanse's protection should be good enough at this point. Cool, we didn't have it. Now we have the potential to heal through with the gems.
Deluded fools.
Is a leaf's only purpose to fall?
Is a leaf's only purpose to fall? You tell me. You tell me. Here it comes. That Esmuth coming through on turn 1 million. Really getting them good.
I face my fate. Your turn.
Alright, we can start casting spells now, though. Boost up old Sparklefly. Not that bad. Just a bunch of blockers. Okay. So I don't really want the gems to land on the gift giver. I guess if he hasn't been playing removals at this point, we might be kind of safe. Like, it's not that bad if he hits something here with like a stun spider. Katarina's a little on the annoying end of things, but I don't think she's that big of a deal. And then I worry a little bit about over-investing into Esmuth. But if we're going to make an attack, the Lodestone will make the Cultist a 4 attack. The Cultist then comes into the Gemcrafter, so we need the Gemcrafter to have +1. We can put the next one onto the Gift Giver. Sparklefly can come in now. Got those delicious bonus stats. No more units in hand, though, is a little bit of downside. Kind of lame, Yasuo. Kind of lame.
No moon, no sun.
All right. Here come the big units. He's ready to drop the big combos on his next turn, though. If you're not familiar, he's going to get the attack token. The Hillock is going to stun. And then with the stun, he's getting, starts to line up good attacks. He'll attack, then play Katarina. Katarina gives him a fresh attack token, start stunning our board again. So we're probably going to have to look to use the Unforgiven Cold on some attack when he has Katarina on the board. But may end up waiting until next turn or so to drop her in. Try and do some shenanigans. We just gotta pass. We have to keep all this mana up for the Unforgiven Cold. Here's Katarina. So now we can try and get something good. He's going to attack. We've got the Unforgiven Cold for the shutdowns.
Some things never dull.
We even have people that can block. It's a valid question at this point.
Protector, shield me.
Would we rather... That's interesting. Would we rather kill Yasuo, or attempt to kill Yasuo, I should say, instead of Katarina? Because we can potentially build up a Ram Stance and then try and Ram Stance Katarina away. And then also leaving her on board keeps him from doing rally stuff. So it's like if he has a second Yasuo in hand, I don't care as much about the stun as much as him having another way to just replay Katarina. I think this is fine. Sure.
It's just an myth.
Now, I guess the other fair question is, would we rather just play a Naka and try and attack with it? I don't think so. I don't think I'm really sold on that. It's awfully dangerous if we spend all 8 mana on a Naka and then it just gets removed from the board. Can you all see the mana gems over here not working right? Look at that. Get your stuff together, Riot. That mana gem way out on the right isn't even showing. Rookie stuff. Rookie stuff, Riot. It's such a worry if we pop the Katarina and then he just plays another Katarina. I guess she's kind of tough to have. Let's see what happens. We know he has Yasuo in hand, so the Udyr's gonna get stunned in this combat, but I think that's okay. It's a little scarier now if he's gonna drop a stun first. That's right. Maybe we should have played this off of the Udyr, because if he's gonna like recall now and then have a flipped Yasuo and then he gets to steal Tempest and kill the Udyr, the 1 damage didn't happen, but something to worry about. All right, well, here comes the squad. And he's leaving Katarina up. That's interesting. I mean, I guess it's pretty safe to say that he just doesn't have another Katarina in hand. But it's interesting to see it play out like that. Now, Udyr's going to die next turn. That's okay. I guess it is a bummer we're not going to get this Katarina off the board, because she can just attack next turn, right? Having to deal with 3 Katarinas may not have the stats to do it. We can play Harazi, but the spell shields don't matter in the face of Katarina. So we might just be dead here. Might just be dead. Oh. Learn from the master. Learn from the master. Well, let's go for it, right? Probably should have played one of these Darkened Lodestones. There's no real reason to have it just hanging out in hand. But definitely could have gone worse. Could have been dead or something, right? And so, where are we at in this space now? If he drops Katarina, let's switch up the Harazi. Should get the Gemcrafter up to 4 health. A little bit safer. We just dead? Yeah, we're just dead. Okay. GG. Ooh, tough spot to be in. Tough spot to be in. It's always one of those weird matchups against that deck. Like I don't think Katarina Yasuo. It feels like it's a deck that wins like 10% of its matchups if it doesn't draw the Hillock, and then it wins like 60 or 70% if it does draw it. And so it really has to get to that point in the game to where it's capable of dropping it on the board. But then it also just loses to a lot of the stuff that we just outright lose to, right? There's like a 0% chance that Yasuo Katarina can ever beat the Sun Disk. And I feel like that's a fairly similar space to what our deck is in as well. All right, so where are we at here? We're up against Nora Vagar. I want to keep the Cultist and 1 equipment. I think we want our equipment to be the Darkened Spear, just to give our future units a little bit of a boost. All right, time for the Totes Magoats. And Gemcrafter turned up. Oh. Do we want the gem that bad? Maybe not. Let's wait and get an equipment on this thing. I don't think just immediately slamming it in when we have Darkened Spears in hand is going to be the way to go.
Big head, big brain.
Now we're a little bit happier about it, right? Not just throwing away all that value from the equipment. All the Darkened Spears, though. Literally every Darkened Spear.
I will drink your darkness.
Sure. You shouldn't be able to kill these Gemcrafters, right? I suspect that we can play the Gemcrafter and then look to just start boosting this stuff in hand. Where are you at? The Darkened Spear he's already seen. And the gem. Just in case he has, like... I don't think there's a lot of removal that he just opens with to kill the Gemcrafter, but we'll make sure that you at least survive the round. Now here's the problem in Vhagar. We don't have we don't have any removal in our deck, so we don't have ways to just come in and take him off of the board. And oh Jesus. Like there's just no way we can outrun these stats. It's tough. Like Udyr just outright dies to the darkness after he attacks.
True power eclipses both day and night.
This is bad. This is bad. FYI. Oh, we gotta make our dude at least have 4 attack. And then we could just play another Darkened Spear, I guess. Lets us get some blocks in and stuff.
Never joust with genius.
Ooh, much pain. Alright. But Udyr is big enough to deliver some heat. So he's got a 6 damage darkness at the moment. So we're coin flipping on this Udyr, right? We're going to drop a gem. We hit. Okay. No vengeances, please. No vengeances. I guess he can like just block it and then darkness. It doesn't sound as exciting once we look at it that way, but let's see how he spends his mana. Looks like we're about to say R.I.P. to Udyr. You fought hard, dude. You fought valiantly. Right. Let's pick up some stats. Got all these Darkened Spears running around. Give us some good units up top. Vhagar currently at 6 of 12. Little scary. Little scary.
Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves.
Alright, dude. Let's see what we draw. Biggest Lunari Cultist 2023. That's what we just drew. Come at him, 4-6. Come at him. Look at that. Getting the double spell. Getting all those stats in hand. It's something. It's something. Sure.
My research.
I will end
So, I mean, if we can keep trudging along without him drawing any darknesses, it leaves us in a pretty good spot. Why would you wait till after combat to play the Ixtali? That's a decision, I guess.
this world must end.
Alright, well, let's see what the spell shields can do. I suspect he'll drop a darkness before combat, but at least we got some scary units coming through. We had some scary units. So I'm going to attack with the cultist over to the left. If he wants to block with the Ixtali, he at least doesn't gain any health this way. Then if he wants to block further down the road, all the units will kill the Ixtali in combat. So that feels fairly safe. Still don't think we're going to be able to recover out of this game. Just the Vagar's too much at this point. These darknesses got too big. But we'll keep giving it a shot. Sure. Alright, he's going to flip and then we're done. Okay. Man. Alright, let's get ourselves one more battle in. We'll call it a day. It's 7 battles. Let's see what we can do. See if we can't achieve a victory. I believe in us. I think we can do it. It's interesting seeing the different Nora decks come about. Like, I don't think, in the terms of competitiveness, I don't think there's a reason to play a Nora deck that isn't the Vagar one. Because I don't think just putting additional units on the board actually does anything. I think you need that Vagar angle to where you win by sending darknesses to the face. But it's interesting. I mean, it's certainly a strategy you see a ton of, and then people not playing. I get why people don't play the main reasons. It's one of the reasons I kind of wish that the ladder was stratified a little bit more. Like, if you go and look at something like Hearthstone, as to where there's a real difference between the ladder. It feels like you don't run into these spots to where you play 10 games and go 4 and 6 and just lose a bunch of LP. And so it's like, okay, I had a good day, I ground my way up to 100, and now I come out and play, and I go 4 and 6 on the next day. The 4 wins grants me 60 LP. The losses grant me negative 60. Or I'm sorry, it's at 25 a loss. Is that 150 and 60, right? So you just lose 90 LP on the day, and it just feels to me like it's a bit much of a struggle to level up. But there's just not enough difference between hey, I'm trying to be competitive up in the top space, and well, I'm at dumpster LP, so I'm just going to play a bunch of meme decks. It strikes me as being done poorly. All right, though, let's start to get this game going. Get the equipment in first. That's going to let us drop the Expanse's protection on the cheap. I'm going to look to drop Esmith on this turn as well. I'm not as upset if we end up losing Esmith, but I think that's the proper sequence to go about this.
Look, a thing.
There goes Feel the Rush. It's too bad. So now that he's out of mana, we don't need the Expanse's protection anymore, and we can look to drop a Cultist. It should be good here as well, right? If we Esmith into the Cultist, then his blocks on Mountain Goat still aren't any good. Okay.
Need clearance, pal.
Not bad. Feel the Rush would have been pretty nice though. That's one of the better ways to go with Jace Lux, is just hit him with the sure. Just hit him with the big 10/10s. So I'm going to lead with Goat, then we're going to play the Gemcrafter, then we can just load our gems up onto Udyr. The question is going to be with next turn, though, right? We're only going to have 7 mana, so we're probably not going to play any gems. If we do, they're going to be like post-combat gems, right? We don't want our Udyr getting popped by burn spells. But he still looks strong here. Not anymore. He looks less strong at this point. Can we get away with just putting a Darkened Spear on him? Maybe. I don't think we can get too invested in this Udyr. So if he gets hit with a Mystic Shot, okay, I guess. He has the chance to just full clear the board. Really just kind of counting on the Gemcrafter to make our next unit not suck. Okay. I think it's okay, though. And then if it really comes down to it on our next turn, we can drop a Naka. So the way I kind of eyeball this is I'd like to, if we're going to play a Naka next turn, I'm going to want to give it Overwhelm. And so we'll look to give it +2 attack and Overwhelm, I think. I mean, it's tough. All the removal out of this deck is going to be damage-based. And so we're going to have opportunities to... we're going to have opportunities to like heal back any damage that gets put on it. But here, this is kind of a bummer. If we want to flash freeze Albus Pharos, we're gonna have to spend too much mana, right? We have the 3 sisters. We can flash freeze him for 4. That only leaves us 3 behind. Guess we can gem through. Should be pretty obvious at this point that we're about to drop a flash freeze, but I think that's as good as we can hope for. Look at that gift giver. He says, "Don't go after a Naka, bro. I got all the stats you could ever need." Oh my god, a sharp sight. Okay. That's pretty brutal. We can't even stance swap out of it. Alright, I think we need a Naka here. We need something to go right. We can look to just drop Gift Giver next turn. I think that'll be safe enough, but I'm not really impressed with it right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Jace come down this turn. He's not anywhere close to getting lethaled. And that's going to let him next turn just be like, well, here's a double Shock Blast into an Albus Pharos attack that we can't really stop. So, let's see what comes out of this. Uh-oh. That's how you can get him, though. Unfortunately, he chained into Gift Giver. If we got the Anaka into something big, it could have been pretty choice. Okay, he's blocking with Albus. I mean, if we just get Albus off the board, that's a win. That keeps him from next turn playing Albus and a Shock Blast, so have a chance there. Okay, fam. Okay. Is he just going to be like double Shock Blast, Mystic Shot? What a lame way to go.
Hey, show me that again.
Okay, okay. I'm on board with that. You can draw all the cards you want. Probably shouldn't say all the cards. At least he can't double us up with a Shock Blast here. We have to be open attacking next turn as well, so keep that in mind with what we're going to be trying to put forth. If he gets to do stuff with this Jace, then it's all done.
A little luck for those who need it.
Alright, so he's done with mana at this point. We don't have to worry about anything there. I think we need to just stat up this Gift Giver. Gonna put an Overwhelm onto it. And then we'll play Zoe afterwards. There's no way he's going to attack into us onto this board. It's just asking to get killed next turn. So we should be able to safely get Zoe down. Oh, we don't even have the we don't even have the bonus stat unit anymore. I thought Zoe was about to just load up all these stats. Not the case. Not the case. All right. Revna and Cultist. Did we do it? Is that enough? Got that spell shield in hand, don't forget that. It's going to be like a judgment. I think we can get past judgment. I don't remember how judgment works with spell shields. It used to have a problem or two attached to it. So is this double? Oh no. Oh, okay, the second Hex Obliterator won't kill our gift giver. I was gonna say oh no in the sense that we weren't counterspelling all of the Hex Obliterates, but this is still enough to punch through. So we should be able to still even beat a. Can we beat a Mystic Shot? Are we back to the lands of oh no's? Oh no's. All right. And he's playing the Unforgiven Cold, or the thing off of a 3. Okay. F. I thought we were so safe with our protective spells. Dang. I guess we could have tried to play Harazi or something, but that doesn't strike me as enough. Are we gonna die to the Shock Blast now? It's got to be coming up at some point, right? He drew a million cards and got to this point. He's got to have the kills.
Interesting use of tech.
Oh, he's playing them on units. Wow, that just literally blows my mind. You're in this space to where the double shock blast. I guess it only does 6 to face. I was thinking it was going to do 12 to face. Maybe that was a little bit off. And I don't think he's going to attack with a quick attacking Jace, so we should be able to put Overwhelmed stance onto Harazi and then put the stance over onto a Naka once it's in combat. Okay, I feel a lot better. I knew that the Shock Blast did 6 damage, and then when you double 6, that gets you to 12, and then 12 to face. But that's not how that really works, right? Glad we figured that out. Figured out before it mattered too much. All right, let's try this one now. That should be enough, right? With these spell shielded overwhelms coming through. There we go, we did it. So all right, GG. Not a bad set of battles. So we can pull this deck up and talk about it a little bit more. And I think that this deck fits a lot into that same space to where we see Spirits Unleashed decks, right? As to where you have too much going on to be really good against the aggro decks, and then there's certain control decks in the format that are just going to smoke you, right? If you run up against Vagar, you're going to lose. If you run against the Sundisk, you're going to lose. If you run up against Rise, you're going to lose. You just don't have the tools to beat them fast enough, and then you can't interact with their game plan, and so there's not a lot that you can really do to stop them, and they should be kind of knowing that at this point. And so you do find yourself being okay when you're just doing like stat on stat battles, or if you're doing battle up against something like Nora that we saw, as to where they're just trying to stall out the board with a bunch of units, and we can eventually build up and punch through that. It just depends on what their late game plan is going to be. Is it going to be like Swain, which is a unit that we can deal with, or is it going to be Vagar generating darknesses that we cannot? And so I think there's definitely something to kind of think about in that space. But it is some, pretty powerful and interesting combos in here when you're loading up the Gemcrafter to put stats in the hand, and the stats in the hand go onto the likes of Revna. I think that there's a really powerful set of things that you can do there. And so I think if you find yourself in a more aggressively oriented meta, you can look to edit this with some more Sparkle Flies and some more Divine Clerks. That should give you enough early game. I could also see an argument for cutting out 1 or 2 of the equipment, or possibly replacing some of the equipment with the 3-cost unit that improvises onto a target. That gives you still gives you the targeting stuff you need for the likes of the Lunari Cultist and activating the equipment abilities, but it can curve out a little bit better if you're, say, playing Mountain Goat on turn 2, and then the opportunity to, say, give a quick attack on turn 3. You can have some better shots there. But otherwise, pretty powerful ability. A lot of good stuff happening here. I could see, I guess the last thing I should say is I could see cutting Zoe. She doesn't really completely fit the bill here. Maybe you look at Zoe in the same sense that we look at her in a Feel the Rush deck, as to where maybe we just want to play 1 or 2 copies for our Feel the Rush, and then we look to stack up more copies of Udyr and Kayle. I was actually quite pleased with how Kayle was working in this deck. I suspected that she was going to be garbage, and we weren't going to be making enough stat-boosted attacks for her to be relevant, but maybe that's the way to look at this, is to play, say, 1 Zoe, 3 Udyrs, 2 Kayles, and then keep in the copy of Feel the Rush, and use that as a tool to just try and summon out the big elusive at the end game, because we weren't stacking her up early enough to have the gems really be relevant. And so, not a bad set of battles. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.